Imagine learning chemistry in a way that completely transforms how you absorb complex concepts, where you don't just read about pollution or chemical reactions, but actually step inside a virtual world and experience them firsthand. This immersive approach is exactly what Arizona State University, ASU, is pioneering with its innovative use of virtual reality technology in chemistry education. ASU's Dreamscape VR program goes beyond traditional classrooms by placing students into highly realistic, interactive environments. For example, one scenario immerses students in a digitally created village struggling with water contaminated by arsenic. Students are tasked with designing an effective water filtration system to purify the water supply, making the learning process tangible and relevant. Lisa Flesher, who is involved with ASU's Dreamscape VR initiative, explains why this method works so well. She says that from the very start, students take on the role of scientists themselves. They are responsible for interpreting data, developing hypotheses, and drawing conclusions, motivated not just by assignments, but by a real sense of ownership and accountability for the virtual environment's outcome. It's ownership on their shoulders to be like, I have to figure this out. I need to interpret this data. I need to form hypotheses and conclusions, because I don't want something bad to happen on my watch, Flesher shared in an interview with KTAR News. The learning process cleverly combines digital and physical experiences. Students first gather data within the virtual world, then perform hands-on experiments back in the classroom lab. Afterward, they return to the simulation to test and adjust their chemical theories. This back and forth creates a deep connection between theoretical concepts and practical application, making the science come alive in a way that purely textbook-based approaches often can't. Since partnering with Dreamscape VR in 2020, ASU has expanded its immersive offerings to include a virtual reality biology course launched last year. The university's commitment to integrating virtual reality into STEM education signals a broader movement toward blending technology and traditional learning methods to improve student engagement and understanding. But here's where it gets controversial. Does introducing VR in classrooms really help all students, or does it risk widening the gap between those who adapt quickly to new tech and those who struggle? Some educators may argue that VR is a distraction or a gimmick rather than a genuine educational tool. Still, the feedback from students who have experienced these VR chemistry classes is overwhelmingly positive. With dropout rates exceeding 40% in demanding STEM fields, keeping students interested and motivated is crucial. One of the most exciting outcomes is hearing students say, "Oh my gosh, I remember that creature," when they recall their virtual chemistry adventures, Flesher added. Graduate student Skylar Grayson, who participated in the VR course, agrees that while virtual reality won't replace hands-on science entirely, it offers a new way for students to visualize abstract concepts that are usually hard to grasp. People often struggle to understand aspects of science that aren't physically visible in front of them. When you can actually see and interact with chemical reactions happening around you, it becomes much more intuitive and helpful, Grayson explains. ASU's new semester starts on August 21st, and as VR continues to reshape the way science is taught, it leaves us with important questions to consider. Should more universities adopt virtual reality as a standard part of STEM curricula? Could this technology be the key to reducing dropout rates and boosting scientific literacy? Or is there a risk in relying too much on virtual experiences at the expense of real-world experimentation? What do you think? Does virtual reality belong in classrooms, or should we stick to traditional methods? Share your thoughts and join the conversation below. This story was supported by funding from the Arizona Local News Foundation.